Hello, my name is Eli Jordan, and today I'll be giving a presentation over the life of Barry Sanders, who I believe is one of the greatest running backs of all time. Let's get into it. So Barry's early life, he was one of 11 children. As a child, he was born in Wichita, Kansas, and his father was William Sanders and his mom was Shirley Sanders. From early on, the Sanders siblings learned the value of hard work and dedication. His father was a roofer, and every summer, all 11 of them had to help him. Detroit Free Press wrote that all day they would labor with the hammers and with tar and sweating in the hot summer sun. And in the Sanders household, you did not complain unless you wanted a good whooping. In high school, Sanders was a natural athlete. Growing up, he actually enjoyed the sport of basketball, but because his father saw that he had a better chance of playing football and getting a college scholarship that way, that is a sport he pursued. But he never really got his shot in high school. He always sat behind his brother for the majority of his high school career, and that irked him. But in his senior year, in the final 7 games, he got his shot. He rushed for 147 yards, and I believe if he could have played his entire season that year, he would hold the Kansas record for rushing yards to this day. That is something I firmly believe in. So coming out of high school, he had a couple of offers to play D1 football. Now, the reason he didn't have many is because he was size. Barry Sanders was always considered a little small to be a running back. But Emporia State, who at the time was a D1 school, Iowa State, the University of Tulsa, and his future alma mater, Oklahoma State, offered Barry. And finally, he made his decision. He would become an Oklahoma State Cowboy. Barry's freshman and sophomore seasons weren't that great, but there's a reason for that. He sat behind another future All-Pro running back, being Thurman Thomas. Thurman Thomas would later say in an interview that the 2 best running backs in the NFL both came from Oklahoma State. So in his first few years, Barry did get some touches, though. He was the kick returner. And in the 1987 season, Barry actually returned the opening kickoff to the season, which I will show now. That was the first play of the 1987 season. Barry Sanders took the opening kickoff 99 yards to the Hizzle. But in 1988, he got his chance. And he capitalized. In Barry's junior year, it is considered one of the greatest single seasons in college football. He rushed for a whopping 285 yards, a record that still stands to this day, in 373 attempts. He averaged 7.6 yards per carry, meaning every time the ball touched his hands, he was on average making 7 yards. He had 237 yards a game, a feat that is also very hard and still an NCAA record. And he finished with 42 touchdowns, which is also still a standing record today, as well as 4 other records Barry has. This is a highlight from his junior year. Barry embarrassed every player he went up against that season. In fact, he embarrassed them all so bad that he ended up coming home with his own Heisman Trophy, at which he accepted in Tokyo. In Tokyo, the Oklahoma State Cowboys were playing the Texas Tech Red Raiders at a bowl game overseas. And the offensive line had to go to his hotel and drag him out because he was not one to really accept rewards. A Detroit Lion. In 1989, Barry Sanders was drafted and picked by the Detroit Lions 3rd overall. And his terror on defenses continued. Over his 10-year career, he never had a rushing season below 1,100 yards. He never averaged below 4 yards per carry. But one thing that Barry Sanders did have is he didn't have a lot of touchdowns. A complaint he had with his coaching staff is that he would do all the work to get his team into the red zone. And then as soon as they got there, they would put in another running back or throw the ball to where he was not given the touchdowns that he might have earned. The most touchdowns he had in a single season was 16. How many yards did he have with that season? 1,548. Barry had a few good years, and in 1994, he earned his first NFL Offensive Player of the Year. He led the league in yards rushing at 1,883. He averaged 5.7, and he finished up with only 7 touchdowns, and that was enough to get him his first offensive MVP. Some people thought he peaked that season, as the next couple seasons he was down 300 yards on both of his career carries. But in 1997, he proved them wrong. 1 year before his retirement, Barry Sanders rushed for 2,053 yards. He averaged 6.1 per carry and only had 11 touchdowns. He did this all on 335 carries. This year, he earned the NFL regular season MVP and got his second NFL Offensive Player of the Year award. And in 1998, the players may not have known it, Barry may not have known it, and the fans definitely did not know it. He played his last season. On 343 carries, the most he had gotten in his career, he finished up with 1,491 yards. He averaged 4.3 per carry. And all the fans honestly thought that he was going to come back for another year and maybe even another 5 years and try to go get the records in the NFL. But that was not to be true. In 1999, Barry Sanders retired. He sent a fax to the Wichita Eagle that said, "Shortly after the end of last season, I felt that I probably would not return for the 1999-2000 season. I also felt like I should take as much time as possible to sort through my feelings and make sure my feelings were back with conviction. Today, I officially declare my departure from the NFL. Many believe, including myself, that Barry would hold every rushing record in the NFL, but he retired early and never had the shot." There are rumors that Barry wanted to get out of Detroit. Detroit wasn't a winning program, but he was the best player they ever had. The only reason they were a good team was because of Barry Sanders, and he felt like he wasn't being treated properly. He asked for a trade to the Miami Dolphins. The Detroit office denied this, and shortly after that, he retired. Now, he has never officially said that's why he retired, but speculation proves that's so. Nowadays, you can find Barry Sanders publicly in two or three places. One, he owns a car dealership in Stillwater, Oklahoma, where his alma mater, Oklahoma State, is. And he regularly attends Oklahoma State football games as well as Detroit Lion football games for special occasions when he is needed. I personally have seen him once when he was the Grand Marshal of the homecoming at Oklahoma State a couple years ago. It was awesome to get to see one of my heroes in person, and I am glad to have gotten that opportunity. Thank you for watching my presentation.